Hello everyone and welcome once again. Today we'll be learning how to multiply swords, how to perform the act of multiplication of swords. Now, in order for you to be able to multiply swords, when two or more swords need to be multiplied together, the first thing you need to do is to simplify each of the swords if possible. Simplify them if it is possible to do so. Then what you do is you take whole numbers with whole numbers and swords with swords. That is, after you're finished simplifying the swords, you now multiply whole number with whole number, and then you multiply sword with sword. So now let's go to our examples on the board and see how that is done. Now in the first example, it says simplify the following: root 27 times root 50. And the instruction was, the first thing to do is what? You simplify each of the swords. Now, you have to simplify root 27 and then we simplify root 50. Now, for root 27, we have 9 times 3. I'm sure by now you understand how I got 9 times 3. Look for two factors of 27, in which one of them is a perfect square, which is one of them must have a square root. So that's how we got this. Then we do the same thing for root 50. That will give us root 25 times root 2. Then for those that are perfect square, we now find their square root. Like 9 has a square root of 3, right? Root 3. 25 has a square root of 5 and root 2. Okay, so now that we've gotten that, say 3 times root 3 is 3 root 3, and 5 times root 2 is 5 root 2. Now we've simplified the two swords. So what do we do now? The other instruction says once you finish simplifying, the next thing you do is what? You multiply whole number with whole number, and then you multiply sword with sword. So in that case, we'll now say 3 times 5, which is this and this, multiply together, times root 3 times root 2. 3 times 5 is 15, while root 3 times root 2. Now, when you're multiplying different swords, when you're multiplying different swords, that is, swords that don't have the same number under their square roots, what you're going to do, you're going to multiply the numbers under their square root, and the square root sign will still remain. So now when we have root 3 times root 5, it's going to give us root 6. You only multiply this together and you keep the square root sign. So root 3 times root 2 will give you root 6. So we now give you 15 times root 6 will give you 15 root 6. So let's please note that when you're multiplying two or more swords, when you're multiplying two swords in which their numbers are different, they are not like swords, they have different numbers in their square roots, you multiply the numbers but you keep the sword sign. Okay, now let's go to the next example that we have on the board, which is root 12 times 3 root 60 times root 45. And we'll do the same thing we've been doing, which is to simplify each of the swords. So now for simplification of root 12, we're going to have root 4 times root 3. That's for root 12. Then, of course, 3 for root 60. We're going to have 4 too as well. Root 4 times root 15. And then for root 45, we're going to have root 9 times root 5. So now the square root of 4 will be what? 2 times root 3 times 3 times square root of 4 is 2 times root 15. And the square root of 9 is 3 times root 5. You multiply everything here, give you 2 root 3 times 3 times 2 is 6 times root 15 will give you 6 root 15 times 3 times root 5 will give you what? 3 root 5. So now that we've simplified the surds, what do we do? Like the same thing we did here. We multiply all the whole numbers, multiply all the surds separately. We'll now have 2 times, whole number here is 6 times 3 times all the surds, root 3 times root 15 times root 5. So what is 2 times 6 times 3? 2 times 6 is 12 and 3 times 2 times 6 is 12. 12 times 3 is 36. And then we have root 3 times root 15 times root what? 5. 3 times 15 is 45. While 45 times what? 5 will give us, let me do that again. 45 times 5 will give us 225. Okay, so 3 times 15 times 5 is 225. And now I want us to note something. 225 is a perfect square. 225 is a perfect square. Why do I say it's a perfect square? Because it has a square root. And what is the square root? The square root is 15. The square root of 225 is 15. So we now find the square root of 225 give us 15, and we'll now multiply it by this. At the end of the day, the answer we're going to get is 540. When you multiply 3, 6, which is 36, times 15, it will give you 540. So you have to be really, really careful when dealing with surds, because even after you've multiplied the surds itself, you might not get a number which can also be simplified further. Like in this case here, we're multiplying root 3 times 15 times root 3 times root 15 times root 5. It now gave us root 225. And root 225 has a value. That is, it is a perfect square, which means that it has a square root. So when you now find the square root of 225, it will now give you 15. You can write it, you can see it like in this form. You say something like 36 times 15 times 15. So we'll now find the square root of this, which will now be 15. And then we'll now multiply 36 by 15 to now get 540, which will be the final answer. So that's all for the video of today. Thank you for watching. If this video has been helpful, please give it a like. Also, please subscribe and also hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I drop any of my other videos. If you have any questions also, please drop it in the comment section, and I'll see you next time.